Hi everyone, welcome back to Dynamic Sport Adventures Wilderness Survival Series. Today we're going to try to show you from start to finish, starting off with primitive fire making, friction fire bow and drill. We've already gathered our tinder, our small bundles of tinder twigs. We are using a piece of cattail fuzz for some of our bird's nests along with some pine shavings. We've already pre-burned our hole. We have some ember dust already built up. We're using a piece of poplar and willow. Our bow is a piece of pine with our string made out of a piece of paracord. A little tip about paracord is always try to bring some paracord in when you're out in backcountry, whether it be a survival bracelet, or a better tip yet would be when your hiking boots shoelaces wear out, replace them with paracord, so you always have some paracord with you. Tools we have with us today are a knife and a foldable retractable saw. And I always try to bring that as part of my kit when I'm out in backcountry. What we want to do today is show you how to sterilize water when you don't have metal containers, but you can get a fire going. And we're going to show you how to make a bowl and how to sterilize water, again, without having your metal container. So we're going to have to do this video in segments. And the first thing we need to do is get a fire going. So we'll get an ember going. I'll start the fire. We'll edit the video and we'll do segments until the video is complete and you can see how we sterilize the water. So again, I've already built up some ember dust and burned in my hole. The notch has been cut. So let's see if we can get a fire going. It is awful windy today, so I don't know if that'll help or hinder us. See smoke rolling out already. We got a good coal going here. Hopefully it'll stay lit. We want to transfer that over into our bird's nest. Okay, we have a fire going. We want to quickly start adding some. We want to keep it going, so we're going to make sure we put some of our cattails on there. And as you can see, we got a fire going. So we'll edit the video, we'll get the fire rip-roaring, which is going to be part of the demonstration on how to sterilize our water. Stay tuned for the next segment. Thanks. Okay guys, welcome back. We showed you we got the fire going. Obviously with the bow and drill it did work on us. So now we're going to show you the second part segment, which is how to make a bowl when out in the wilderness when you don't have metal utensils or metal containers, I should say, to boil your water to sterilize it. So we did have a foldable retractable saw. We actually took a piece of basically poplar, softwood, and we cut it. We also cut ourselves a little hammer. We have our charade old timer, which actually we're field testing, so it's a good opportunity to see if this knife is worthy. And what we do is you start cutting into the board. You take your little hammer and you can start smacking in, score yourself some lines, and start using this as a hammer and chisel to to get down in there. Once you get into your board, you can start popping out different segments of the wood. You can see it's peeling out, and it does take a long process. It's took me quite a while to get to this point. This is if you want to make a bowl with wood. Soft woods work best, poplar, willow. If you can find basswood, that's even easier. We also wanted to show you a piece of birch bark. I didn't want to deface a large birch bark tree, but actually it's a little easier to make a bowl with birch bark. If you want to carve out some pieces, get a fairly large sections of birch bark with no holes in them. This one I just want to show you. We can make a quick easy cup out of a square piece of birch bark. Fold in half, fold the edges over, and then you have a cup there. And again, for demonstrations, I got a little water from inside, and although it leaks a little bit, you can see that it holds water fairly well. So there's a little cup, how to make a cup out of birch bark. And again, you can make a bowl out of birch bark or willow if you can find a big enough tree. But again, I didn't want to deface a tree to show for demonstration periods today. Plus I wanted to show you how to make a bowl out of wood. So again, long process to get to this point. A lot of chopping, a lot of hammering down and pecking out the wood and chipping in the sides and carving. It takes quite a while. So the next thing what we talked about is how do we sterilize our water. Well, we have our fire going as we showed you with the primitive friction fire with bow and drill. We got that going, and next thing you know, we have a bowl. So we clean our bowl out best we can, and again, to show you, it holds water. We'll put the water in there, and there you have your water. Let's say we got it out of a stream or out of a pond or stagnant puddle. What I've seen a lot of times in some of the shows is these guys drinking water right out of the stream or out of a water source. They know how to make a fire. You shows them making fires, but it doesn't show them sterilizing the water. And if you've ever had giardia or any kind of stomach ailments from bad water, it's not fun. So what we do is basically we have our fire going, and we take some rocks, and we're going to place them in the coals of the fire. Now be careful, please be very careful. Sometimes the difference in temperatures will have these actually explode, so you have to be awful careful on them. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to place these in the coals, and we're going to leave them in the fire for about an hour to warm up, and then we're going to pick them out with pieces of stick so we don't burn ourselves. And then we'll show you the next segment of how to sterilize our water. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, welcome back. It's been about an hour, and we're going to show you how to, we're going to take a couple of sticks that have Y's on them. We've already got our water in that we put in there earlier, as you saw in the earlier segment. And we've had the rocks in the fire for over an hour. So we're going to take them out. And again, if you use basically take a piece of stick that's Y. I like to tap them a little bit to get all the dust off and make sure we don't get as much in there. And then of course we put them right in the water. Rocks have been in the water, or I'm sorry, in the fire for about an hour. You can roll them all out. And if you set up shelter already, the best idea to do is, because I actually measured this, I have an Nalgene bottle, and that's got 16 ounces of water in it. So make sure you have enough water when you have your fire going. Rocks in, 2 different batches of rocks going, so you can always rotate them out. In other words, once you sterilize this water, you can either drink it or, and I don't know if you can see that or not, but obviously what you got there is boiling water. So that's how to sterilize water when you don't have metal containers. Oops, sorry about that. And you can let that sit in there and boil for a while, and that'll sterilize your water. And again, if you have, I use 5 rocks for about 16 ounces. You can make a bigger bowl, obviously, with a bigger piece of wood. And the other thing is, if I needed 5 rocks for this, I maybe would put 15 in the fire. And then once these have cooled off and boiled off and purified that water, I let it cool down. I could drink that. I wouldn't have to wait an hour or more each time. I would have rocks ready to go for the next batch, so I could drink pretty much once I get this going. If I put 15 rocks in, I could sterilize 32 ounces of water, probably a little over an hour. So there's how to sterilize water when you don't have metal containers in the wilderness. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Get outdoors. Happy hiking.